Thanks for joining us for another the Roselle Citizen Forum. I'm here with Rahman Muhammad, Erick Cedano, and myself, Mark Milton. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Before we get on, like we always do, we just want to get out of the way some Roselle business, some things that are going on in Roselle. But first, I want to just thank the Angie Family Bakery. We're here at this bakery's been here for 4 months. It's on the corner of 2nd Avenue and Sheridan. Very nice place. They asked us to come down. We definitely took the invite, and it's a gorgeous place. They make cakes, pastries. You can have parties. They'll do parties for you. The owner's names are Macedonia Jellica Mateo. They have a son about 10. His name is Sergio. So come on down and patronize your local Roselle business. They're glad to have you, a great couple. So moving on to Roselle events, we got a youth violence I think it's a seminar. They teach you about gang violence that's going on in the community. That's on the 21st of May.
This Saturday, I believe.
This Saturday, yes. And Saturday also. We also have a First Ward debate. And what I say is I actually found out it's not a debate.
So what is it?
It's a question and answer.
Well, what does that mean?
Where you submit the questions,
right,
and they're supposed to answer those questions. So it's not a debate. I know. I thought it was a debate. It's not. And that's on the 26th of May. And then, of course, we have the Roselle Memorial Day Parade, which is on the 30th, which should be good. So I hope everybody comes out for that. And Mrs. Cedano, do you have anything that you want to?
Well, actually, today is the prom day for our high school, so I want to say congratulations to all the kids over there. Have a safe day today. Make sure you come back home safely.
Some of them are coming home.
Yeah, I actually would like to thank both of you for the invitation here. Actually, we're having today also a special meeting on LV Moore.
Oh, that's right.
Both of you are invited
to.
Yeah. So hopefully, we'll see some familiar faces around.
Right.
So thank you for your invitation.
I just got one meeting. That's the Christine Political Danzero meeting that's coming up. I'm hit of the night. So, all of a sudden she's having a flood meeting on the 24th at the firehouse.
Okay.
With Lesniak and Crying and Keanu. Election time is coming up in the primary, so they want to come to the residents and say that they doing work in the flood project. And since my house is right by the the river, right next to the river, you can actually walk out my backyard and put your foot in the river. I'm going to that meeting because I would like to know, and I advise all residents that's in the flood zone to attend the meeting. And I think we should call out politicians who just seem to want to come with us on election time and give us some a game that they're actually doing something about the flood project when I'm paying $200 additional in my mortgage payment for flood insurance because they haven't done anything. But we can save that for our show.
I don't live in a flood zone.
Okay.
That's fortunate.
Woo! All right. Okay. Tonight, while we're here, is we asked Mrs. Cedano to come down because he has just been elected president of Roselle Board of Education, which he is the first Latino to be elected president of the Board of Education.
Yes, and actually I want to make it publicly. The first person that actually say that was this man here, and it made me feel very proud actually to represent. It's about who we are in Roselle. Is a multiracial, community, and actually it's being reflected now on the Board of Education.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think in the Latino population here in Roselle, do you think they have more of a struggle than the other ethnic races that are here in Roselle? Do you think they have more of a struggle, or is it more of an equal opportunity type of thing?
Well, I think that if you are willing to get involved, you might have, you know, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easy, but if you're willing to be involved, I don't see why you should not be able to participate. Because the issue with the Hispanic community normally is that most of them have family businesses like this one, or they have 2 jobs. You know, most people are not actually getting too active into the community, even that they have, you know, they want to make sure that their children have the best education, because most of them are, you know, immigrants that came here, and they want to offer the dreams and the hopes that we don't have in some of our countries.
Well, so I like that based on it, because I do think it's important that recognize. You know, I thought that no one actually coming up and recognizing that before I actually did just was wrong. I think
nobody did even after.
Well, you know, but you know why? Because I think we dismiss those things, and you know, and I think it's important that African Americans recognize that too. By the way, I think that if, you know, when we ask Latinos to gain power, that we need to make sure that when it's their, when Hispanics' time to gain power, that we support Latinos in gaining power. You know, I do understand in the African community their hesitation. You know what I'm saying? But to be honest with you, you know, it's all baloney. It's all malarkey. I think that, you know, we can work, we can live together. And I just want you to answer, why is it important for Latinos to step into these positions?
Well, if like I keep saying to every single different community, it's not only Latinos. It's if anybody doesn't participate, they don't get well represented. It's not well represented on any community. I mean, the first time that I moved in Roselle, which was 15 years ago, the first thing that I noticed was that in the municipality there was no diversity. The same in the Board of Education. So I say, how is that if we're having communities that are actually coming here paying taxes, you know, because we pay taxes the same way that anybody does. So, you know, I say why we should not be able to participate. But then I find out that most of the issues were in the beginning, you know, the time. Most people were not at home. They were working, you know, they were having 2 jobs. They were not actually well organized, because that's another thing. If you don't organize a community, you probably will not have well representation from them any place.
So now, were you surprised though that you became the chairman? I mean, you know, the makeup on the board isn't majority Latinos. Like, you're in the minority. So were you actually surprised? Well, that's a big feat. You got to know, because most of the time when I look at councils and board, the only way the Latino actually gets the position is if the majority on the board happens to be Latino. So were you actually surprised?
You're correct. Actually, I was not surprised. I was honored. Because if I was becoming the first president Hispanic through a Hispanic board, that would be like, you know, it's a no-brainer. But because if you look at the current board, it was totally multiracial, where we have you know, African Americans, we got white people, we got Haitian now on the board, and then, you know, Hispanics. Then it was basically you know,
and you got a 9-0 vote.
Exactly. That's the other thing. If you think about it, in the past, as far as I remember, you know, in the past 10 elections, you know, usually you don't get like 9-0s. You know, usually you have like a 5-4, 6-3, you know, kind of thing.
You're gonna have somebody that doesn't
always somebody, or at least you're gonna have somebody that abstain and say, you know, I abstain. Don't want to say yes, don't want to say no. But you know, like I say, it was an honor, you know, that everybody at the end fell on board. Even that some, I know that there are some people, you know, still angry about it. You know, people that were on the board.
Well, you was attacked the first. I mean,
board,
they was coming at you the first day you was chair. I mean, I was like,
you know something, like I say, God is good. God is good all the time. It doesn't matter, you know. There is a reason for me to be there.
Okay, but now that you have that 9-0, I mean, that puts a lot of pressure on you. I mean,
of course.
as not just as the president, but as a Latino president. I mean, you know, it's the same thing, and it's just like President Obama. I mean, he's not just the president, he's the first African-American president, which puts more of a pressure, because if you mess up,
at you.
Exactly. So I understand you understand that pressure.
Of course.
But the question is now is, what is your first move? What is your first thing that you want to do? And I'm not, I'm trying to get away from the Latino because it's not about just that.
No.
So what is your first thing as president of the Board of Education? What is your first thing that you want to do as president of the Board of Education?
This might sound cocky, you know, what I'm going to say. But the first thing that I want to happen in the Board of Education is the full participation of all boards. In the past, people were, you know, blocked of certain information, stuff like that. It always have been playing, you know, on the board. And my main thing is to actually, as a president, is not actually to do or assign the job to be myself. I want everybody to have a piece of the pie and get the, you know, the kudos or the, you know, of whatever they bring in, because we all have different backgrounds, different experiences, different knowledge, you know. So I want to make sure that every single individual have their own voice and actually their ideas on the table.
So you know? So right now, because I mean politics playing everything, and we do know that. The current, I mean, from what I saw the first day, I mean, there looks like there's a lot of disagreement, or there's going to be future disagreement on the when it comes to the Board of Education. You know, how are you going to bring the harmony to the board to make sure that the issues that, because when you're the president, direction you want to take the position in, right? And how do you bring that harmony to say, listen, election time? Because I always tell these people, I always try to tell folks, listen, when elections is going on, that's one thing, but once they're over, it's time to govern. You know what I'm saying? So how do you get them to actually start governing?
Like I say, I mean, my main goal is not to go and set some rules and regulations and things like that. We're like the three of us right here. We can have a conversation. We can put things on the table. You can. We might agree to disagree. You know, it doesn't mean that everything that is gonna be from everybody involved in the party. So far we're having a very, very good Board of Education group. I believe so. Okay. Even the people that you guys might perceive there are, you know, opposition.
Right.
To me, I don't see them as opposition. Right, it's just people that, you know, have a different point of view. Right. And they might be angry for X, Y reason.
That's a good way to say it. I know.
It's true. It is a good way.
Yeah, you know, because, you know, too often I see folks who, you know, especially on that council, who, you know, when you disagree with them, you have to be the devil. Right. You know, if these people, they rebuke you, you the devil. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're a troublemaker because they don't want you to have a different opinion. I think that's a good way to go with the Board of Education.
To me, is to make sure, listen, everybody's going to work better if they feel comfortable and they feel happy to participate. Right. When you start saying to people, no, I don't, or, you know, you start building anger on them, that's not going to end up in a good relationship. But it's not only on the board. People have to understand that it's not about personalities anymore. It's about doing business. And if I know that you're going to bring something to the table that is good for the community, I will have your support even if I don't like you. Right. This is something that I have been saying for the past 3 years, and people don't believe me when I say it. So what I'm doing right now, it's doing what I preach. You know, I don't go and say something and then now I got elected and now I'm going to be different and I'm the president and I'm here and there. That's not who I am.
Yeah, well, as president though, you really have no voice. And you pretty much don't. So and you have no vote, and you really have no.
You have vote.
You have your vote, but you have no voice. So, you know, I know what I know of you. You like to be heard.
Because I was so.
You don't have a voice when you
constrained. Now, when you're a president, you are supposed to in the meetings, in the public meetings, you're supposed to handle the meeting. I mean, if. By statute, you can actually.
Garrett.
I can have. Not really.
No, because he got a vote.
Well,
it's different.
Garrett is there to facilitate the meeting.
No, I'm gonna tell you.
That's the difference.
But I'm gonna tell you what is the difference. My difference is that
actually give your
the
opinion.
gavel. No. The way to do it is I gave my gavel to the vice president, making her the president for whatever time I'm going to take to talk. And then I can dialogue with the rest.
Okay.
Basically.
But is that a law? Because I don't see that being done in other school boards.
That's a law. Yeah. You actually have to, if you're gonna have an open dialogue, what happens is most board presidents don't take that right.
Yeah, because listen, in the city of Newark, the chairman of the board speaks all the time.
Oh, yeah?
All the time.
No, but in reality, I mean, what we are supposed to be there is to make sure there is harmony, even that is tough, but there is open communication going back and forth about one specific topic. You know, it's not about going and refuting somebody's statement or something like that. You know, it's not about that. It's even that people perceive it in a totally different way. I mean, we're supposed at the end to come out with the right solution for the business.
So I got a couple of things I agree with you doing, and one that I actually disagree. So let me talk about the thing I agree with, right? And ask you, why you think it's important. For the first time I've been to a board meeting, I've been going to probably the last 3 years now, since I've been actively involved in the board education. I've never seen them put the contracted out services on the agenda to bid out for the bid for the services. You actually gave the public the process to show that you're bidding for the contracted services. That hasn't happened before. Why do you think it was important to do that? Like the professional service. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Professional services.
Okay.
No one has ever. There's always been the politics. People win. They put their people in the professional service. But you've actually, put it out on agenda that you putting out an RFP.
RFPs and RFQs.
Why is it important that that happens? Because a lot of folks don't do that.
Because they don't want transparency, and this is about transparent as we can be. Because by law, actually, the law requires you to do RFPs and RFQs every 3 years.
Right.
You actually have 2 years that you don't have to. You can appoint somebody if you want to.
Okay.
That's what the law actually says.
Okay.
But if you truly want a transparent, process,
right.
you go right into RFPs and RFQs. Right. I mean, it will take you a little longer because RFPs and RFQs you have to advertise and you got to have this gap. And sometimes some people don't like to wait that time. They just want to go there.
But right now, isn't there an issue even with the superintendent? They went through a process of interviewing people for superintendent job. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Nice segue. I knew you were getting there.
Well, listen, no.
But that's why I was going there. But this is great. This is great because I have the opportunity to tell everybody what is going on, even that I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble or not. Right. But this is about providing transparency.
Well, we're not. Listen, I'm not as you. Rock has been more active than I have. So these things are even new to me. So I'm not going to go. I don't want to speak on anything that is incorrect. So that's why you're here. Sure. I mean, and believe me, our viewers are the same as myself and like Rock, who don't understand the process. Like Rock didn't understand about that whole how the dynamics work. I didn't know it until you had explained it to me. Okay. So that's what we're here for. So, but I know on the tables when we start talking about the superintendent, there has been some rift that has happened because it happened in the meeting before about the process of selecting a superintendent. I know some of them are upset because they said they've already been through the process, but you want to bring in the
NJSBA
to do what? Just explain what has happened.
What happened is this. I'm going to start with this way, even that people are going to say that it's my complaint. I have been a board member for 3 years, right? On the 3 years, on the first year, we have the previous superintendent. We went right away by the recommendation of the county superintendent to get an interim superintendent when he got in. Right when we got the interim superintendent, any of our viewers can go actually and get the Oprah, documentation that myself and another board member named Anthony Esposito, the first thing is we say, okay, that's fine, we got a new interim, but now we got the time to actually go and do the process the way that it's supposed to be to get a superintendent. For unknown reasons, the presidency didn't take action to that. It passed 1 year, and nothing was taken. If you go back to our board minutes, you will see that probably we talk about it 6 times. I'm talking about, you know, mention it on the floor.
Right.
When is this process going to start?
Right.
Then they say we're gonna put a committee together. I say, okay, that's fine. That's a good way to start
Right.
the process. Then after the year passed, we still, you know, asking when is the committee going to be formed?
Right.
Oh no, we still have time because you know, the current interim superintendent
Right.
can be there for 2 years.
Right.
And it's actually 2 years because it's an information that is wrong on the streets. They're saying that he has been there for 2 years or longer.
Right.
And that's not true.
Right.
His 2 years is in October,
This is the intern.
the interim.
Okay.
This is Mr. Martino.
Yes,
Yeah,
his second year ends on October.
Right, okay.
So if you think about it, he got like a year and 5 months or so, or and a half, let's say. I'm not sure with the math, so if anybody, I'm sorry, but it's not 2 years, because it's in October.
Right.
So if you go back last year and look at the minutes, we were saying when is gonna be the committee formed.
Right.
Then we, on December, we find out, okay, we're gonna go ahead and form a committee. On that committee, it was established that not all board members were going to participate, only members that were chair,
Right.
which excluded
Do what? What was
chair
Okay.
committee chairs.
Oh,
Chairs,
okay.
yeah.
So, which automatically excluded 4 board members. So it excluded
I see,
4
I see.
out of 9. Now, the other thing is that they say, okay, it's gonna be formed with community members, you know, outside and all that. Then we find out, you know, it was people like, from the ROTC, supposedly, because you can go back, I wasn't aware who actually formed this committee,
Right.
honestly. They say on the Elvimore forum that we have, somebody said that it was members that were part of that committee. We find out that was not true. So the whole thing was this. Number one, they said, okay, we're gonna go in January, after they formed the, you know, the committee, which is fine. You can define the committee as how you feel
Right.
in terms of the presidency. But if you truly want transparency, the committee have to come back to the whole board
Right.
and give reports
Right.
in public.
Right.
Not in executive session,
Right, right,
mentioning, oh, we already sat down with so-and-so and
Right.
that's it.
Right.
And, you know, that's something we will not, it's not transparency, in my opinion,
Right.
my humble opinion. So we find out on probably a meeting back in March that there was 17 people already put their, they submit, you know, their
Resumes.
interest
Okay.
to be interviewed.
Okay.
Okay, that was in March what we received. Then I believe it was in April when we heard from the lawyers that out of those 17 people, there were only 6 finalists.
Right.
We had no idea. I'm talking about we're talking about the 4 board
The 4
members.
people. And who were the 4 that was excluded?
It's
Can you
Celeste
name?
Sitarsky,
Celeste. Yeah.
Richard Vieira,
Okay.
Carla Walker, and myself.
Okay.
That was actually the 4 that were not, you know, part of the committee.
Alright.
So when they came back in April, they say we have 6 last finalists.
Right.
The only thing that I personally knew, it was that 2 actual employees of the district applied for that position.
Okay.
I didn't know any other of the 4 others out of those 6. Not talking about the other 11 that were taken apart for unknown reasons.
Right. Right.
I actually contacted the lawyer, and the lawyer said, you know, Mr. Cedano, as you're not part of the committee, you don't have access to this information because this is part on the committee until the committee make their deliberation.
Right.
I said, but I'm a board member. I'm supposed to know.
Right.
You know? So that's what started the whole dilemma.
Right.
You know, then beyond that, no matter what, it is unfair, it's totally unfair to have a board member, a brand new board member, make a decision that is the decision for this town for the next 3 to 5 years, which is to pick a superintendent. If you think about it, if you got 4 board members that we're not aware, but let's say you only have 3, because I'm gonna say that probably one of the board members were being fed information
Okay.
from the other part, let's say. But you have 3 that totally don't have that information.
Right.
And now you got 2 more coming brand new into, you know, the board, you're talking about 5 people, which is you know, it's a consensus of the board, to having to make an election on something that the information was not even gathered or studied by them or look at. You know, they're just giving us the final, this is the final, you know, decision. So I think it's very responsible if we actually take action or continue action based on that.
So now, you know, and I'm not, and I don't want to. I want to be clear with something, because although I have issues with what's going on with the superintendent, I don't disagree with your concerns about that. Because I do think a part of this is that, unfortunately, right now there's an individual, and I'm gonna say Mr. West, who to me is being harmed, who had no control over the process, right? You know what I'm saying? Because there are people who choose to, you know, go sit in back rooms, have these executive meetings without informing everybody, you know what I'm saying, and not going through the proper process. And I don't disagree with you with that. And so I do understand your position, because if I was on the board, I would be upset too.
Well, this process for Mr. Martino.
No, but the process was to replace Mr. Martino.
Right. Yeah.
But so I do understand what you're saying, Mr. Cedano. I do, trust me, I do. But my whole point though is that even with all of that, right? If the consensus is that Dr. West, who I think will be a perfect superintendent for the Roselle school system. I think if I was sitting on the board and I wanted to put a model of someone who I said I want my superintendent to be just like this person, Dr. West would be to me the person that I would say, hey, I would like a superintendent just, you know, that fits within those parameters. That's the individual I would like to choose as superintendent. And so what I'm saying to you is that even though, and I do get you, trust me, I understand, you know what I'm saying, what you went through with the secrecy and all this other nonsense. But he would be a great superintendent. You know, why not just choose him?
I don't disagree with that. But here's the thing. We want transparency in all the stages of everything. It's not just superintendent search. Current board members don't have any background, you know, don't have any information there. And we also at the same time find out that some PTA, PTOs, ROTC, you know, didn't have the correct information. Right. Not only that, we're talking about the public, the general public. We want everybody to be coming and actually, you know,
But this is it though. But there is a process they have to take. There's a process. The problem is you can't just appoint Dr. West.
That will be
you can't do it. So they have to send out the RFP.
That will be very mature.
No, but
I agree with you.
Here's the reason why I would be unethical. I got to be honest with you, Cedano, because we never had I don't remember an assistant superintendent. Maybe I wasn't here long enough, but I don't remember the time we had an assistant superintendent.
But you're supposed to have.
We have.
No.
Yeah. Well, how long ago? When was the last one?
Yeah, no.
But when was the last one? It wasn't when Dr. West was there, though.
Dala was there, yeah.
But no, they said she wasn't under the title of assistant superintendent.
No, she was under the title.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I'm being told she didn't have it.
Dr. Dala, that was her position. And actually, I forgot her name, Tamika Botnight was the curriculum director. Right. Dr. Dala was the assistant
superintendent.
Even that they brought her as a consultant. That's what it maybe caused the issue.
Right, yeah, because I was told that she didn't have the title of assistant superintendent.
No, she was the consultant. She was, hired as a consultant. Right. But she was the assistant.
Well, you saying she did the work, even though she didn't have the title. She did the work, you saying. Although she didn't have the title, she did the work.
According to what I know, what I know, that was her title.
Okay. Because I've been told that worked.
No.
But with that, because I thought, I got to be honest, when they brought in Dr. West to be the assistant superintendent, I thought the purpose, and I thought all of y'all were on board with this, by the way, that when Dr. West came in, that the purpose was to train him.
I thought too.
To one day replace Dr. Martinez. Yeah. I thought that was the whole, you know what I'm saying? I thought that's what that was about. You know what I'm saying? Because I would tell people, you know, that I was always telling folks, you know, Mr. West is going to be the superintendent one day. I was under the impression that the board, everybody on the board, you know, felt, you know, that he wasn't ready yet. Right, but we're bringing him in as superintendent. Let Dr. Martino train him for time being, and then give him the position as superintendent.
But now let me say something so that you guys understand and probably will be on the same page. When he came in, actually Martino said we need an interim superintendent because by the time we elect a superintendent, I might not be sitting here. So we have to have somebody that comes into the transition, and if that somebody is actually good enough,
Right.
we can promote it to superintendent.
Right.
You know, we doing.
So this was what Martino said.
Through doing the right process.
Right.
Because, for example, we brought him in. I have said to him directly, personally, I say, I love the work that he has done.
Right.
I believe that he's a really hard worker, you know, and I actually say, I was the first one that actually voted no on the person itself.
Right.
When he was brought in, I was the only board member that voted no, because when I saw it in the agenda, we didn't have no contract. Normally, you have at least a drafted contract, because you if you're gonna hire somebody,
Right.
you have to know, you know, how much money he's gonna make,
Right.
what kind of perks are gonna be.
And
in
you
there.
wanted voted on it at the board,
I was the only one
in public.
In public.
Unlike Dan Thoreau in the council meeting. You wanted to be transparent.
Anybody can scrutinize me
Right.
and go back to the records.
Right.
Because when I go, I say, I'm voting no. And it was not relating to, you know, some people are making it like if it's a race issue or
Right,
something
right,
like that.
right.
And honestly, that had nothing to do, because my background says that when I don't have the information, I don't go for it.
Okay.
Either you give me the information, or I'll say, we got to table these items.
Okay.
Because I need to make a conscious decision.
Okay.
That's what I was voted for. I'm voted to represent all of you guys.
Right.
So why am I going to make a decision based on, oh, I like how it looks, or I like, you know, how it talks, or I like, no, it's about, you know, let's do the business portion. People have to understand that you have to take apart the business section with the personal section.
Right.
You know, when he came to us, he was presented as an individual in a resolution. Actually, as a matter of fact, I was sitting on personal. So when he came, I thought he was great. He did a
Right.
great interview. I was impressed by him. And at this day, I can tell you, up to this day, I think he's doing a phenomenal job.
Right.
No point, no doubts about it.
Right.
But then I actually expressed to him myself, I say, I got to make sure that if you get the step up, you don't lay back, you know, because that's a concern.
That's your job.
But then, let me put you guys to this. We brought in the right process. He shouldn't be afraid of it, because if you're gonna be the, you know, if you vintage than anybody else,
Let's
he
scare-
already have 8 months.
But will the process scare him away? Is what I'm saying.
Well, that but if
Because
you
some
are,
people saying that the newly elected board members don't want him. So the
That's
word
not
is being
true.
said that
That's
they don't
true.
want
Let me
him.
tell you,
So
right now,
I think he's
there's even
taking
a
a position.
yeah,
there's even a
I heard
petition.
about it.
And-
But the petition is to
have him-
have him superintendent.
to have him
Well, what
stay,
I'm saying-
not to get rid of.
Right,
Dr.
but
West.
right. So what I'm saying is that there's this rumor out there, and you can straighten the rumor out, because unfortunately in this time rumors spread a lot. New members on the board don't want Dr. West.
That's not true.
So you do encourage Dr. West to apply
Of
to the
course.
process.
Let me tell you this.
Okay.
There have been several, just so that you verify my word, you know, on a previous meeting, he wanted to actually participate when we brought the NJSBA, you know, rep.
Right.
He wanted to participate. He wanted to ask some question. And he asked me to let him talk.
Right.
And I went and say, if you do, you automatically get eliminated.
Right.
Because it's a conflict of interest.
Okay.
So I'm protecting him
Right.
not
Okay.
to go
Right.
Right.
and get disqualified because now you interfere in the process.
Right.
So what I'm telling you guys is,
So why not say it at the board meeting, Cedano, that, you know, so to ease people that we are encouraging Dr. West to
we are.
No, but
I
I'm
keep
saying say it at the board meeting. That we encouraging Dr. West not to be afraid of the process. That we just want a
That,
transparent
you
process.
have to go tonight. That's why we never brought in the
Okay.
person and the
Okay.
right.
Okay.
You know, we couldn't
because
say
because
it
we're
in-
telling you as
I
well,
know.
listen. That's what we hear. We're residents, so we hear that thing. And I believe me, they write me. I get emails about this. And that's how I found out there's even a petition to keep. And that was the thing that they're saying is that they're trying to get rid of Dr. West.
No, not
and as you saying, no. But it's a process, and
It's
he
a
has to be
process.
involved with
and
the
he
process.
has to be there.
Yeah.
And if
Okay,
he's the
okay.
top qualified
Right,
person,
okay.
I can guarantee you he got my support 1,000%, not 100%. If he's in the top of the, but let's
Right.
do the process.
Okay.
That's all. You don't have to be afraid. If you know that you feel that you're the top qualified, why are you going to be afraid? Just let the process go. Make everybody comfortable. Because I'm going to tell you this, guys. One thing that the superintendents have to do, and I'm sorry if I'm taking too much time, is that you know, you got to make sure that the superintendent works with the board.
Yeah.
So why you going to make a board angry, and how you going to work then?
Yeah.
You know, that's the process. It doesn't work like that. So we don't want, you know, I honestly want and wish him the best, but honestly, I wish the best for Roselle. This is my whole thing. I cannot just put, you know, a name or a person and then, you know, jeopardize the future of all the 3,000 children that we serve. And that's what my
if he does, let's say he does become superintendent, we still need an assistant, correct?
Oh yeah.
So now you're back to putting out.
You still have to go
through the process and doing that all
because that's the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm applying for assistant. That's for my haters on NJ.com.
This goes the board. All right. Well, you know, I truly am glad that you spoke about that, and because those are some of the things that we're hearing. You know, and that you letting everybody know that there is a process, and I believe in process too. I believe in that because whether it's you're sitting up there or whoever, the process still needs to be followed.
Let me tell you guys this. It's going to be probably a surprise, but by the time, you know, you guys air these videos, it's not going to be a surprise anymore. But one of the things of the board that we have been discussing and talking about is bringing the community into participating in actually selecting the superintendent.
Right.
This is something that happened when I was in Girl Scouts Developing Committee. When they were bringing the CEO, they actually brought the last 3 finalists and they put it on a room. Everybody comes, talk, you know, not like a photo, not a back and forth, sit down over here. Just go and meet and know the person. And when you come and write down notes about the person that you already interacted. Not saying I'm voting for this guy and voting no for these other guys. It's about, you know, give us your honest opinion on who you think, you know, what do you think about the specific person? Not who you think is going to be the best. And that's something that we want to bring into this process. We probably want to open the high school, bring everybody in the community that wants to actually be there, meet probably the top 3 qualifiers, go talk to them, you know, in an open thing. You know, and then come back and give us some feedback. I think that's fair. That's not, listen, I'm here for 3 years. If we select a superintendent that is going to be for 5 years, I'm probably not going to be a board member back then. So I got to make sure that we don't elect some because a group of people is, you know, cheering on a specific person. You got to understand that we have 21,000 residents in Roselle. I cannot make a decision based on 15, 20 people that will affect the other 20-something thousand. You understand? So I hope you guys are very involved into this process because I'm inviting everyone to actually participate.
Well, and we want to make it known too is that, you know, the involvement has to start between the residents and the board. So we're hoping that you'll come back and let everybody know once in a what's going on. Know the process. I mean, listen, I like to know from the ground. I like to know how things are working. And listen, you're not going to please everybody, and we know that.
We know that.
But we're just hoping that the board what's moving forward is going to make those decisions that are for the residents, you know, and not for the political
groups or whatever.
And everything.
But that's why we want to open and be totally transparent and have a one-on-one communication with the community and everybody involved. You know, we're going to actually invite the council people to actually go and talk to these people too and fill out your form like everybody else.
You do know the more you
share,
but you do know the more you shed light into these dark closets, you're gonna upset the rats.
Well, you know, but there is one thing why I do.
They're gonna scatter.
I know, but,
you know, because a lot, because it's true. You know, I'm saying to you, unfortunately, in politics, in the position that you hold, these folks like these secrets because it has what has enriched them for years. I'm sorry, but that's what it is.
I mean,
it's enriched them. It's kept them supporters. They've enriched their friends with contracts, and they don't like transparency. You know, they claim to want transparency. You know what I'm saying? And they always come in with an excuse on why they haven't been transparent, but they're not really transparent.
I just hope you understand too. I mean, listen.
But you're not accusing that I'm saying that I'm not transparent. Right?
No. I'm telling you.
No, because I'm trying.
Listen, I just told you. I actually like what you did with the RFP with the RC. I haven't seen it done yet. You know what I'm saying? So that's actually.
But you have to also understand that no matter what, politics is going to play a part in this, and you cannot have a blind eye to that.
No, I understand.
And I understand that you want and what you want and how you want things to operate, but also in the back of your mind, you have to know that the political process is going to be involved in something.
Well, I know.
So listen, I mean, this is another thing. I mean, we're running out of time. So again, we thank you're always welcome here. You're always welcome.
We'll be here,
and we appreciate you having you down here, taking this invitation to come. Again, we're at Angie's Family Bakery, 524 East 2nd Avenue. Come down, meet the owners, meet their sons. Order a cake. Schedule a party, pastries. If you go, also, and if you go, and Rock has lost some pounds too. If you go to on the RoselleCitizen.com TRC discounts, they have a coupon there for you can buy 2 pastries, get 1 free, and that's good for any time. So go there, download that, come visit, patronize your local businesses, and again, we'll be back. All right, anything, Rock?
Nah, I'm good.
All right.
I just want to add that just in case anybody get lost, he's right across from the Cherry Then Appointments in First Avenue.
Okay, yeah.
So it's right across from it. Those
Those ain't the ones that Roselle owned.
yeah,
That's the one.
That's the one. Those the ones that Roselle owned.
yeah.
Oh wow, those ones. I never knew the buildings that.
You always hear the name, but you
always
never-
hear the name, but I never knew the
Yeah,
building.
that's owned by
That's owned by the borough. They trying to sell that building. We should buy that building.
Well, thank you guys.
No
again.
problem.
Thank you for the
Okay.
invitation.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll see
I'll
you
be
later.
here anytime.
All right.